Today on Monkey Life, Alison collects a family of 3 marmosets living in a birdcage and needing a new home.
Hi, you.
And gives them a new life in Dorset.
They're quite jumpy, nervous, not trusting of people.
And it's weigh-in day for the Gibbons.
Come on then. Who's coming? Oh, good boy, Sam.
Monkey World in Dorset, very deep in the English countryside, is the largest sanctuary of its kind on the planet. The team, led by Dr. Alison Cronin, rescue and rehabilitate abused and unwanted primates from all over the world.
Right, so keep her in, get her in. Okay.
The park provides a home for more than 260 primates from 24 different species. The COVID-19 pandemic has brought a year like no other, with lockdowns and restrictions affecting all walks of life. It's no different at the park in Dorset, which has had to close its doors for many months to protect both staff and animals. But while visits from the public have had to stop, the need to rescue primates hasn't. Alison and the team still face dealing with the consequences of the legal pet trade in small monkeys in the UK, particularly marmosets. In the last few years, Monkey World has built 2 large marmoset facilities to try and meet demand. But both are continually full to the brim. Worryingly, there's also a waiting list of 126 marmosets who need rehoming. The situation is pretty grim.
The legal trade in primates as pets is just appalling because it's always the animals that suffer. But as long as the pet trade allows them to be bought and sold like a goldfish with no licensing and no registration, this is going to continue. And we're only seeing worse and worse cases as time goes on.
Occasionally, a situation arises that's so desperate, Alison has to act and act fast. And that's what's just happened. As a result, the maintenance team are in a race against time to renovate 2 bedrooms at the park's small monkey kitchen and add a new outside enclosure. There's no time to waste, because tomorrow, Alison is heading to Liverpool to rescue 3 marmosets whose owner has suddenly passed away.
Luckily for the animals, the neighbours next door agreed to take them on and care for them until appropriate arrangements can be made. But they don't know how to look after these marmosets. The conditions that the marmosets are being kept in is not right in the first place, simply in a birdcage. And what's important now is to get the marmosets back to the park safely and to provide them what they need in terms of indoor, outdoor enclosures, appropriate diet, professional veterinary care, and looking after them the way they should be.
Rescue day dawns, and it's a 4 a.m. start for the 250-mile journey to Liverpool. Due to the COVID lockdown, Alison has to get there and back in a day. It means the trio of marmosets can settle straight into their new home, and the team can monitor them before bedtime. In Liverpool, at the neighbours' home, the marmosets are in a small birdcage in the utility room. Alison has very little information about the threesome and is keen to learn as much as she can from the family now caring for them.
I think he had Pablo, which is the older one, the dad. I think he's had him for about 3 years, and then he did have a female called Maggie, and then they had the babies about 2 years.
Okay.
So they're a family.
And you don't know how old Pablo is?
No.
The 3 marmosets are nervous and wary of new people. Alison's finding it difficult to persuade them into the travel box.
Hi, you.
In the end, to stop them getting stressed, she decides to leave them in the birdcage and transport them in that.
Rather than grabbing them, stressing them, doing anything, we're such a nice little group. We've left them in the cage. We've got the cage inside of the car, which just goes to show it really isn't ideal for 3 marmosets to live in that cage full time.
It's a quick turnaround. Within minutes, the family of 3 will be heading off to start a new life at Monkey World. Variety is the spice of life and the key to keeping all the park's primates happy, healthy and busy. The primate care team provide all the animals in their charge with a wide and varied diet. So when a bounty of unusual local fruits is donated, the chimp team jump at the opportunity. The medlar fruits aren't colourful to look at, but they're delicious when ripe. And the team are putting them out for Bart's group of 17, spreading them around their indoor playroom. None of the chimps have tried this fruit before.
The fruits that they'd eat in the wild are actually more like our vegetables. They don't have as many sugars in them. And so this might be something that's quite nice for them. Some of them should be more like the fruits they'd eat in the wild, and others will be hopefully nice and sweet and a treat for them. We do have to be careful with Bart's group, obviously, because Bart's got type 1 diabetes. So we have to make sure that we're not giving him anything that's going to make his sugar levels go through the roof. But what we will do is retest him at midday when we do his insulin, just to check on them and just see how these have affected him. It's interesting, it keeps us on our toes.
Chimps are opportunistic feeders and will normally consume whatever is on the menu. Their reaction to this very different fruit should prove interesting. The group are all outside in their large enclosure, but once Hannah opens the slide, they immediately head indoors, looking forward to breakfast. They're an excitable bunch at feeding time, and today's offering is greeted with lots of happy chattering. As well as the fruit, their breakfast includes celery and eggs, so there's plenty to go round. But they have to work for it, searching through the wood wool and blankets for the tasty treats. Leader Bart has a good old rummage around the floor, and after a bit of investigation, finally uncovers a hidden medlar fruit. His elder sister Eddie has fared better, already tucking into hers. One of the park's originals, 42-year-old Cindy, has also taken a liking to the novel fruit. While low-ranking Athena has a hoard she's savouring. But Clin, and then Eddie, think she should divvy it up. But one chimp who's definitely not going to share her hoard is Toprish. She's gathered a huge handful of medlar and is eating them up high. But Bart has spotted her. And even though the two have become inseparable in recent months, when it comes to food, it's a case of tough love. Despite his persistence, Toprish is not letting go of her stash. Luckily, this spat blows over and there's plenty more breakfast to be collected. Some, like elderly Zoe, decide on a mid-morning nap, while others head outside. Bart is amongst them, and it's time for him to have his glucose checked.
Come on, big fella.
And receive his daily dose of insulin.
Right. Shall we retest you? Okay. See whether we've had any effect from those medlars.
Hannah wants to be absolutely certain the medlar fruit hasn't impacted too much on Bart's blood glucose levels.
Good lad.
A tiny prick on his thumb is all that's needed.
We're just interested to see whether the medlars have made any difference to him. So he's 6.0, which is reasonable. That's what you'd expect him to be after he's had food. So it's not shot him up. So you can have those again, can't you? Eh? You could have those again and we wouldn't be worried about you.
With the level roughly what Hannah was expecting, Bart can have his daily insulin injection.
Yeah, good boy. Let's just do that. There we go. Superstar. So yeah, he's so cooperative. Most of the time now, when I'm doing the insulin, I don't even have to ask him to turn round. He just turns round for me to give his insulin in his back. And he favours his thumbs for his glucose, I think, because it's easy. So we have to make sure we avoid doing them all the time. We have to make sure we ask for his other fingers or his toes. Otherwise, you start to get sore if you keep doing it in the same place all the time.
The team can now add medlar fruit to the ever-increasing variety of food safe for Bart to eat. Monkey World is home to 4 groups of woolly monkeys, the largest population outside South America, their natural habitat. In 20 years, they've had 53 in their charge. Of those, 28 have been born at the park. It's a remarkable achievement because captive woolies are notoriously difficult to keep happy and healthy. And the park's success story continues. In the last few days, young mum Ava has given birth.
So far, so good. Ava's doing all the right things. Baby is only a couple of days old, so we need to check all the signs. So important things are baby suckling, getting the appropriate milk baby needs, gripping tightly, and also that the baby is obviously, the tail's nice and coiled, because that indicates to us that the baby is nice, has energy, and obviously has been suckling. And we need to physically see if it's had producing urine, faeces, and all the signs that we need to see.
At just 8 years old, Ava is now a mum of 2. Her son Lenny was born just over 2 years ago, fathered by Lavar. Not long after that, Ava moved home as part of the park's big woolly move around, a necessary change to keep the groups balanced and healthy. She's now living at Chippy's, has settled in well and been accepted by the rest of the troop. Dominant male Chippy is the father of her newborn. But with the infant only a few days old, the care team haven't yet been able to determine its sex. Current thinking is, it's a girl. But until they're 100% sure, they don't want to name it.
At the moment, I'd say it's still probably a bit too early. We need to definitely confirm the sex of the baby. Generally, with them as well, we will name them after the dad. So in this case, Chippy is the father of Ava's baby. So it will likely be a C name. So we'll have to come up with some nice C girl names.
Chippy isn't always the most hands-on father, preferring to do his job patrolling and checking the enclosure and keeping the group safe and secure. And in any case, Ava is a shy character and tends to keep the baby to herself. She's probably still a little bit wary of the 2 confident, much older and domineering females in her new group, 21-year-old Paquita and 31-year-old Quapper. In recent months, the 3 have been getting on reasonably well, and the new arrival may well add a new sense of harmony.
Having this newborn baby will be amazing for the group as a whole, and hopefully the group will bond a bit better. But obviously it's early days, so our job is to make sure that the group remains calm, but we're keeping our fingers crossed this will be really good for the group.
Keeping track of the health and welfare of more than 260 residents is a tall order for the park's primate care team. One of the simplest methods is to weigh the animals. Weight fluctuations can be a good indicator of whether anything is amiss. With this in mind, many of the primates have been trained to sit on scales. Today, it's the turn of 2 pairs of Gibbons who live in the support building.
Hey guys, you coming?
They are siamangs Sasak and Sam and golden-cheeked Gibbons Peanut and Pung Yo.
With all of our animals, we would try and ideally weigh everybody at least once a month. Now, there's lots of reasons for that. The main one being on day-to-day management of the animals. We can adjust the food, we can make sure that people are getting enough high or low calorie, depending on whether they need gain or loss. And so that's really good knowledge for us to make sure that we are giving the guys what they actually need nutritionally and exercise and things like that. The other real benefit is actually for like medication. So if any animal needs routine medication or if they need antibiotic or something like that, having the weights, an up-to-date weight, a lot of these drugs are calculated based on the amount of weight that they have. So it's really important for the vets to have that knowledge as accurately as possible. So there's lots of benefits to us to actually get this on a regular basis.
First up are devoted couple Sasak and Sam. Cat installs the scales off the ground, securing them to the mesh. It's the most natural position for the arboreal gibbons.
Right then, Gibbies.
But in order to get a true weight, they need to be persuaded to sit in the centre of the scale and not hold on.
Come on then. Who's coming? Oh, good boy, Sam. Good boy. I need that other hand though, buddy. No, I want that other hand. Good lad. Good job, buddy. As you done, we got you. Initially, the scales were really, really scary for the gibbons, and trying to get them on there was like a real mission that took several months because they don't really like new things. As soon as they realise that actually once they're on it, they get really high, nice treats and rewards, we just sometimes can't get them off. And obviously right now, Sam's like, yeah, I'm being good. I'm here. Give me treats. Sam, come on, good boy.
Sam's weight is slightly below his previous reading, but Cat isn't unduly worried. It's to be expected during the autumn and winter months when there's less natural vegetation available to add to their daily diet. Next up is greedy female Sasak.
Sass. Good girl. Ooh, 16.12, I think, Sass. Yep, that's what we're gonna go with. Good girl. Good girl. So that's actually quite good because we've had a little bit of a loss from Sasak, which is exactly what we would expect where there's not so much food available in the trees now. So we start to see her tailing off over the next few months. But then, of course, the spring will come round again and she will start eating everything that she can find again. But she's not massively overweight. You know, she's, you know, as you can look at her, she is quite a solidly built individual. But we do need to make sure that she doesn't get massively overweight. Come here then. Oh, good girl. What's that?
Then it's the turn of some of the park's golden-cheeked gibbons, with female Peanut up first.
Come here. Come here. So this is no good. We need her right in the middle. Come here. Oh, good girl. Well done. Good girl, Peanut. 10.62. Good girl. The siamangs and the golden cheek gibbons are completely different. Peanut is actually quite heavy for a golden cheek gibbon. She should be somewhere around sort of 7 to 8 kilograms. She is a very large built individual. She's very stocky, she's broad. She is definitely bigger than she should be though. We do have to try and keep her weight down. Right, Pung Yo, let's see if you're going to be a superstar. Hey, buddy.
Peanut's mate Pung Yo wastes no time, perfectly positioning himself on the scales.
Nicely done, buddy. 7.46, oh that's good, Pung Yo.
The routine is repeated every month, enabling the team to build up an accurate record of each individual's weight. Today, all the hours of training have paid off, and the weigh-in has gone like clockwork. Following a 12-hour round trip, Alison has arrived back at the park from Liverpool with the 3 rescued marmosets on board.
Wow, long trip. Man.
The team have had to rapidly renovate 2 bedrooms in the small monkey house and are now in the process of completing a new outdoor enclosure for the trio.
They're quite jumpy, nervous, not trusting of people.
After what's already been a long and hectic day, the team decide the best way to introduce the trio to their new home is to put the birdcage in and let the marmosets come out in their own time.
Nothing's really known about them other than we believe that there are male-female twins, that they're 2 years old. The female is named Maggie after the mother, and Pablo is the father, and the other male, nobody even knows what his name was. So they're missing a bit of fur, and they're very scratchy. All three of them are scratching quite a bit, but I think that's because the cage is simply filthy, but clearly very traumatized and not trusting of people now.
It's the nameless youngster who's first to summon up the courage to leave the safety of the cage and explore his new home. Steph opens the slides to the adjoining rooms for the young marmoset to explore. Pablo, who has amazing-looking tufts, soon follows and seems comfortable and interested in the new surroundings. But the other youngster is staying put for now. The primate care team can now get a good look at two of the newcomers.
Are we confident on the sexes of the
No, nothing.
And Steph has noticed something isn't quite right.
I'm thinking Pablo girl.
Really?
Yeah. So I think it might be Dad that died, not Mum.
It looks like Pablo, thought to be the dad, is actually a female, and most likely, Mum.
Whenever we get a new pet trade marmoset in, they'll quite often say whether it's a boy or a girl, but that's not always correct when the marmoset arrives. At the moment, we've got one very definite boy. It's very obvious that he's male. The younger girl does appear to be a female, but Pablo, the jury's still out at the moment. He's supposed to be the dad of the group, but not 100% convinced that's the case. Just need to get him to give us a good look, because at the moment, it could go either way. It's not looking obvious that it's a boy, but time will tell when we get a better look.
For now, the trio will be given time to adjust to their new home. Then the team will examine them for parasites and any obvious ailments. Plus, they'll be given vitamins and put on a normal, healthy marmoset diet. It's all very new, but they have each other for comfort and companionship, and in time, the team can work out who's who. Next time on Monkey Life. Chimp Kalu, recently rescued from South Africa, struggles to recover from surgery.
It's sort of 2 steps forward and 3 steps back sometimes.
And the team stump up at Wrigley Feast for the squirrel monkeys.